And welcome to another episode of Behind the Gate with Scott and Kate, sponsored by Elm Grove Farm. This is our 13th episode. And again, we'd like to thank Elm Grove Farm for their sponsorship. And they stand the sire Stonebridge Terror along with Arthur Blue Chip. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the episodes. And we have a special guest tonight. I'm Scott Waddell, along with my co-host Caitlin Wesley, and we'll be speaking to David Dowling in just a short time. But first of all, just wanted to go through some of David's accomplishments over the span of his career. So far, lifetime stats, he's got over 1,800 wins, $7.5 million in purse money, a driving average of 307 for his career, so very, very good. And the last couple of years, 2022 and 2023, both years going over 500,000 in seasonal earnings. So great years for David the last couple of years, and looking forward to 2024. So I'll pass it over now to my co-host Caitlin Wesley, and she will talk a little bit about David and introduce him to our podcast.
Thanks, Scott. Yeah, welcome aboard, David. I'm so excited to have you on board. You are one of the most common drivers at, Summerside and Charlottetown. So it's great to have you on board and get to know more about you. Before we do jump in and get to know about you, I'm going to start with your last year stats because they were phenomenal. So why not jump in and start there? You had 821 starts, you had 165 wins, 150 seconds, and 116 thirds, and banking over $500,000. That is huge. What an accomplishment, really. So congrats on that. And 2024 should be even better, hopefully.
Hope so.
Hey, David, great to have you. So we're just going to fire a few questions at you tonight. And as we mentioned before we get on camera here, just kind of wing it, enjoy yourself, and we'll dive in now. So I was looking at your stats on Track It, and I noticed that you first got your driver's license way back in 1994. So this is actually your 30th year of driving. So tell us about your early beginnings in Prince of Rhode Island, and then your move to Ontario.
Well, at the start, it didn't go that good. I started driving. I think I only drove 7 times.
Yeah, it wasn't very many. Yeah.
And it wasn't for me then. It was horrible. Yeah, it didn't go good, so I hung them up, the silks up after a few drives, and I think it was 4 or 5 years before I even thought about doing it again. And when I moved to Ontario to work, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. But it wasn't a very good start, that's for sure. It took me a long time to get my first win.
Yeah, it took a couple of years, I think, when I was looking back at your statistics. But, certainly I know you're enjoying yourself in Prince Edward Island. Like Kate said, you had a tremendous last couple of years, and actually last few years, David. And, what do you attribute a lot of your success over these last couple of years?
Oh, I don't. It's people giving me the opportunity to drive. Show up there night in and night out and stay healthy, and people use you, and it kind of goes snowballs, and you get different trainers use you, and then the other guys follow. It's it's hard work. You gotta work hard at it too, and people back you. And
yeah, and you've got how many horses do you have in your stable, Dave?
We have 15 there now.
Oh, do you? Okay. So who comprises of your operation there over in Prince Edward Island besides yourself?
We have a pretty big team. It's you know, it's not just my name's there, but it's not just me. It's me and Britt, and you know, we have Kathleen, Albers, Claire, Shane Baglow helps on race days. And, you know, it's a family thing too. Like we have, you know, family helps out a lot, and, you know, around the barn, you know, helping us do fences and everything. It's, yeah, it's a pretty good gig.
Yeah, and your brother's involved as well. I think Michael, he's got that nice mare there. She's Rockin' Fame, who had quite a year last year.
Yeah, she can make a guy look good.
Yeah, she's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, who would you say has been your most I don't know if it would be influential person, but the one person that kind of you really grow in the sport, or the person that drove you to want to be who you are today in the sport?
I don't know. It's my family, my mom and dad always believed in, like, you know, they weren't like, oh, you shouldn't do horses or nothing. They always let me do my thing. And it just, I don't know, it's like I worked for so many different trainers, you know, and it's like there's tons of like Stutzman and LeChance and, you know, Ronnie Green. They all had a part in, you know, showing me the ropes and stuff. And then when I come home here, Brittany, she's, you know, she's the backbone of the stable kind of thing. And she, you know, she's just as competitive as I am. So she keeps the ball rolling.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And like Caitlin said, you had such a great career. Was there anybody, like when you first started out, David, driving, that kind of urged you to maybe take up a career in the horse business?
I don't know, not really. I
No.
just no, I moved away and I just kept working and working at it. And I made a move, which, well, it was Ian Fleming that kind of told me to kind of in London to, you know, if you want to drive, you should probably go to Sudbury, and, you know, you'll get lots of drives and experience. But I went there and it worked out, and, you know, I got a lot of experience driving horses for good people there too. And then when I made the move to Flamborough, it was, you know, yeah, I had already had, you know, I moved with some good horses myself, and it just kind of went from there.
Awesome. So tell us about your first lifetime win. I think it happened way back in 2001 in Ontario. So what did it feel like to get that invigoration for the first time across in the wire, and getting your first lifetime win and getting that behind you?
Well, it was pretty exciting. Like I said, it took a while.
Yeah. Who was the horse? I say, who was the horse?
Travarius.
Okay. That was
trained by Peter Core.
Okay.
It's funny because I had an opportunity to either drive him in London, and he had the rail, which I thought he had a pretty good shot, or go to Windsor and drive a real nice old trotter. He was an open trotter in Windsor. His name was Bicor Timgo. And he gave me the option. Geez, I really like to get that first win. You know, this fellow was favorite. So I opted to go and try and get my win, and it worked out.
Yeah, that's awesome. I certainly say it has. You've had a great career, and you've had actually 6 years in a row where you've got over 100 wins. So good showing there. So go ahead, Kate. I think you got our next question up for Dave.
Yeah. We've asked a couple of the drivers this question, and we know you are also competitive on the track. Is there like one or two drivers that you really like to compete against and like pick at on the track, or even if it's off the track after the race, you guys like to bicker back and forth and have some fun?
Yeah, there's like Corey McPherson. you're always joking and stuff. And Jason Hughes,
Yeah.
Mark Campbell, we joke around a little, but we're both pretty competitive. And when you go on the track, it's game time. And yeah, that's pretty well. Everybody pretty well gets along. And jokes the odd time about things. We had fun.
Yeah, and you've got a great group of drivers over there. We've mentioned it to some of the other drivers that have joined us as well. That a guy like Mark Campbell who goes down to Saratoga and drives some horses for the first time. Although we did drive a few maritime horses, but he went down there and fit right in. And I think there's a number of guys at Red Shores like yourself that could go anywhere and drive, especially on a half-mile track.
Yeah, it's well, I've driven, numerous tracks in Ontario, and it's just tough here. It's there's a good group of drivers, and any one of them could go anywhere.
Yeah, so tell us about your years, Dave, at Sudbury. You had some pretty good string of years there, and what kind of made you come back to Atlantic Canada? What was the deciding factor, I guess, to come back here?
I don't know. I kind of had enough of the, it was every night you're going and going and going. And a lot of people don't know, but I had a little, a fight with an addiction too. And it was to come back to family and get my head back on straight. And it's been 6.5 years, I think now. That's everything has been good. So and that's it's a busy life there, and sometimes you get caught up in things. But it's all worked out for the best now.
Yeah, no, props to you. I can relate, David. I had a similar problem, and about the same time frame for me as well, going on 7 years. So, it's changes your life once you get a chance to really focus on your day-to-day life instead of the demons that are out there. So good on you, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, you too.
Yeah, thank you.
So with over 1,800 lifetime wins, you must have lots of memorable trips to the winner's circle, because to me, that's a lot of trips to the winner's circle. Don't get me wrong. Is there any that really stick out that are going to be like those most memorable trips to the winner's circle?
Well, for sure, my first one.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting. I don't know, I won the governor's place. No pun intended. I was win the consolation with him. The Gold Cup. I win with Mikey Camden, Colin Johnson there. Tobin's Brownie. Every win with her was exciting. It's broker, and it was pretty exciting with her. And probably I don't know, it wasn't just one win, but the biggest day is when I win 3 Breeders' Crown in 1 year.
Oh, nice.
And that'll stand out forever.
That's awesome.
No, that's awesome. So I asked Todd Trites in our last episode, David. I'm sure you know that the Atlantic Provinces Harness Racing Commission are seeking out a new director of racing, and we asked some of the other guys what they think that somebody who takes such an important position in maritime harness racing, what are some of the experience or qualities do you think that they should have?
I don't know. I think, a knowledge in the sport,
kind
of a little bit of a background, knowing about horse racing and stuff. And I don't know, it's just the rules are there in the book. Like, by the rules and the rules, it's cut and dry right there. Just go by the rules that are in the book, and a little common sense.
Do you think that, I asked Todd this too, do you think that getting somebody with the horse experience, of course, but maybe somebody outside the region that might have, or might be seen at least as a little more, I guess, impartial?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. They know about the horsing, but not a lot of ties.
Yeah. All right, Kate.
Yeah, so we asked a few guests before if you could take us through your day, what your schedule is like, how you go about a David Dowling day at the barn, or how do you, like, what's your day like?
Well, I don't know. It's the alarm goes off about anywhere between 5 and 10 after 5, and you get up and head to the barn. Try to feed them anywhere between 5:30 and 5:45. Then have my coffee and let the horses eat. Kind of go outside of the barn so they don't pay attention to me. Then I just go in, start doing stalls until Kathleen gets to the barn, and then when she gets there, we start to jog. And I put away the horse. Me and her both put away the horses after they're all jogged and trained, and then pretty well if we get done early enough, then I'll go work a couple hours at the brother-in-law's all-star cresting there.
Oh, okay, right on.
I try to get in there. It's tough this time of year because of training back. Yeah, and then after that, me and Brittany and Harrison usually head to, now we're at 2 places. We're at the track and at home we have some, so we hit both places and we feed together and we'll get some street hockey in after.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's pretty well, we shut her down for the day.
Yeah. So here's kind of a fun question. If you could drive any horse in the Maritimes that you've seen race the last couple years, or that you competed against, or you said, geez, I'd love to sit behind, 1 or 2 horses. Are there any that kind of come to mind? There's so many nice horses in the Maritimes, like right in the free-for-alls, and then you've got, some 3-year-olds coming 4. And, have you ever thought about one that you'd like to sit behind that you haven't yet?
Yeah, well, I want to drive them all.
Yeah, I know.
I like Malignant. I like him. He's a big, strong horse. Looks like he could, he can do it any way you want to do it with him. It looks like, anyways. Yeah, Paul. I like Paul Landrew.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think he's going to be this year. He's going to be a real contender. I think he's going to grow into a nice horse.
It's funny Paul, because I was at the track train with our filly today training, and Aaliyah's horse was going, and Paul stopped me at the top of the hill, and I'm not 100% sure horse he had, but he was training one, and he says, "Did you talk to David today yet?" And I said, "No, Paul, not yet." I said, "That's tonight." And he said, "Oh, okay. I'll make sure I'll get to watch that one." He said, "All right, Paul." I said, "It'll be tomorrow, though."
Yeah, so, Paul's a pretty good guy.
But yeah, it's Malignant. Even just to watch him train, he's like a horse that you just see once in a while. Like, he's just one of those big strided colts. Like, he's just, and all you can do is just watch. Like, he's just so fun to watch, because when he jogs, he's full of himself. When he's trained, he's all business. So yeah, I couldn't imagine sitting behind one like that. That's for sure.
He's a true athlete. That's for sure.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, son of Malicious. He's a handsome fella. That's for sure. So we've had a number of young drivers emerge in the last few years, especially with your matinee program over there, Dave. Have you seen any couple drivers that you think are standing out a little bit that are having some luck over in Prince Edward Island?
Yeah, they're all doing good. Most of them, handle the horse good and safe and stuff. Brady Sweet, he's really took off there in the last little bit. He's does a good job with the horse, and Brett Clough and Kyle Drosh. I like them kids, and anytime I can help them out, or they ask me something, I'm always willing to give them a hand. They're good kids.
Yeah, and it's great. They came up in a great program over there in the matinee that PEI do, and certainly a great stepping stone for young drivers.
Yeah, for sure. It's needed, and it's I don't know. It's nice to be able to do that and not just get thrown into the wolves. It's behind the gate and stuff. It's a lot different than just training.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
And well, that's like us here in Nova Scotia. We don't have that opportunity to have the matinee circuit. So
Right.
when I throw together the amateur races, usually during Grand Circuit Week or something fun, it's like it's a thrill. Like people say, "Oh, you're just going out to race." No, honest to God, go behind that gate because that's where the adrenaline hits you. You're like, I'm in this. Like I'm doing this. Like, and it's like the best feeling. And that's the one feeling that I look forward to. Post parade, it's fun when they start to announcing and all the fans are like, hey, hey. But then it's that gate, as soon as it moves and your horse's nose is on it. I know here our starters were pretty cool when they, oh, have fun, don't be safe, and laugh, carry on, be a human out here. And it's like, okay, right, let's do it. Like, let's do it. It's like, I don't know how you guys do it in the big races because I don't think my nerves could handle that much, but I think it's pretty fun watching you guys all get so stoked and going behind the gate. So yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know myself. It's you think about it and you get a little tingly, but as soon as you leave the paddock, it's just another race. Like kind of like it's you forget about the nervousness or anything like that, and yeah, I don't know if it's just over time that happens or what, but
Yeah. So you said you had about 15 horses in your stable right now. Do you have any 2-year-olds that you are pretty fond of or that you're kind of really excited to see what they have to offer this year?
yeah, we have 5 2-year-olds there now. We got 4 fillies and a colt. They're all doing what we want right now. They're anywhere between 30 and 35. My big thing is I just manners, and it's they act right on the track and they steer good. And other than that, I try not to get too high on them. You have that little excitement, but I usually like to try and keep it under my hat, and it's
Save it for the racetrack.
yeah, it's then we all know that they could train like Bearcats and they get behind the gate and into the group of horses. It's a whole different thing, and
Absolutely.
So this is just kind of a general question, Dave. I'm sure that you watch a lot of simulcast races, and of course you're involved in live racing over at Red Shores, who I think do a good job of this, except for a couple races all home week. But what do you think, like when you're sitting there watching, and it seems like a long time in between races? Do you think it's important as race fans to kind of speed things up a little bit?
I don't know. I think they're doing, like, as far as the show and the wagering and stuff like that, it's going up. I think they're doing a good job. Sometimes you're out there, and it's, it seems like forever or whatever, but I think they're just trying to work with the other tracks and stuff, and that's a big thing too. We need the wager, and I think overall Red Shores is doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, no, I agree, definitely, for sure.
What has been your fastest mile to career so far?
52 flat, I think Mikey Camden in the consolation of the Gold Cup.
Nice. That's pretty fast.
Yeah, and you had some pretty good luck over the last I'd say 3 or 4 years, especially with like you say, you got to drive No Plan Intended for a couple of years, and tell us about him. He just seems like a real plug horse that he's tough. He's a big strapping horse, and kind of what it's like to drive a horse of that caliber.
It's definitely a lot easier to drive than once.
Yeah, the fast ones, yeah.
Yeah. But he's like that horse. He's tough. You can pretty well do whatever you want. You're not going to go busting the gate real hard with him, but he's not scared to take a little air either. And the governor's plate there, everything worked out and got a good trip, and he fired home.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been a nice horse over the years, and tough horse. Just thinking maritime wide over the last few years, David, horses that you've got a chance to either drive or compete against. Are there two or three that really stand out as far as some of the best horses you've seen around here?
Yeah, I think Woodmere Steel Deal.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been a lot of horses that had the speed that horse had.
Yeah.
Pace 53, 52, week in and week out. He was a real high speed horse. The Rio Princess, her numbers tell it all there.
Yeah.
And Tobin's Brownie.
Tobin Brownie. Yeah, we're going to talk about her in a minute. Actually, can't do a David Dowling podcast without talking about Tobin's Brownie. That's for sure.
No.
Yeah, so racing sure looks like a family affair for you and Britt and your son. Tell me what it's like having your family so involved, and seeing your son be, a part of everything. He was in the mini horse races and he got to win. So it's got to be like a really fun experience from, start to finish out of everything.
Yeah, we both love it. Me and Britt, we both like to race, and she's probably more competitive than I am. So we just like being in the barn together as much as we can. She works a full-time job too, and so it's hard for her to get there as much as she'd like to. But no, and Harrison, anytime he's always there petting the horses. It would have been a bad thing when that little fella pulled a yo if I didn't get him straightened around. I know that's bad fault there, I'd say, but no, yeah, no, we just it's and it's good, she watches them train all the time, video and stuff, and it's a team effort, that's for sure.
Right on. So, got to ask you about Tobin's Brownie. She's been such a competitive mare over the last few years, and such a great state performer, and just love watching her race. She's such a game mare. What's it like to sit behind her, knowing that basically every time you sit behind her, you've got a shot in the race?
yeah, she's I don't know, she's pretty special.
Yeah.
She's the easy horse. Like before the race and after, she's the worst horse. She, throwing her head and pulling and tugging on you, but you turn behind the gate and she's two fingers, and you want her to leave, she leaves, and if you want to take her back, she comes back to you pretty easy. After in the winner's circle, she tries to kill Briss, but she's pretty special. She kind of started it for us, basically. Might not be here where we are now if we didn't have her, but
yeah.
She's special, and hopefully after racing we could put her in the breeding shed.
Yeah, I was going to ask, after her racing career, I'm sure she's going to make a fabulous broodmare. Any ideas on who you might breed her to? I'm thinking maybe Malicious.
I don't know.
Not sure.
I think Brittany's more up on that part than I am, but I think she has a couple in mind.
Yeah,
but I'm not really sure. I don't really want to stop driving her right yet. So
yeah, I know she's a lot of fun to drive. Absolutely. And I think we wanted to kind of end things on talking a little bit about your father-in-law. Go ahead, Kate. Finish things off.
So you drove for Earl Watts, and tell us about a couple of the horses that you've driven for him that really stand out to you and that you really like to get on board with.
Well, there was a 3-year-old filly I drove for him, Woodmere Elysiac. She was phenomenal. I won Breeders' Crown with her. And one I like to drive, she's still in his barn now, is Rock the Baby.
Okay.
Me and her get along pretty good. And as you know, I like to leave a little sometimes. And she can get off the switch pretty near as good as anybody. So.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, listen, David, it's been a blast. Thanks very much for joining us tonight. Wish you all the best for the upcoming 2024 racing season. And I know you're going to be looking for 7 straight years with 100 wins or more. So we wish you all the best to keep the streak alive this year.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, so that'll do it for episode 13 here on Behind the Gate with Scott and Kate. And our next guest up on episode 14 will be Jessica Hallett, the award-winning photographer, writer, and daughter of John and Michelle. John got his racing start actually in St. John, New Brunswick. So we'll find out a little bit more about that. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and join our Facebook page. So again, future episodes we have coming up, Jordan Stratton, of course, who won the Gold Cup and Saucer last year. We'll have a talk with him here soon, as will Brandon Campbell. Brandon Campbell, we'll talk to him. He's having some great success out in Western Canada, and we'll talk to him in a future episode as well. So thanks very much again. So for myself, Scott Waddell, and our co-host, Caitlin Wesley, thank you very much. And for our guest, David Dowling.